back to Sex, Drugs, and Opera. This is your podcast for Saturday, November 14th. How the fuck are you doing?
I can't wait for some turkey, baby.
Some of the
Some turkey lurkey.
I'm going to come back to that, but some of the most stressful moments of my life are when that theme song's playing and I'm frantically trying to get my calendar out in time to know what the date is for this Saturday. 14th. Yeah, when is Thanksgiving? It's always the last Thursday, right?
Last Thursday.
Is it the last Thursday or the fourth Thursday? There can't be 5 Thursdays in November, right?
Yeah, that could be.
What?
I'm pretty sure that could be. But if that's the case, I think it's then the 4th.
Yeah?
It's happened before, I think.
Yeah, turkey,
think.
man.
Oh, man.
Turkey, that pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
That pumpkin pie and Mike's pineapple stuffing. I'm telling you, man, you gotta release the recipe to the people.
Dude, pineapple stuffing is the fucking shit. Some people, look.
You wouldn't think it would be.
Right.
But it is.
But it is almost exclusively sugar, butter, pineapple, breadcrumbs, and eggs. Like a fuck ton of eggs.
I've done quite a few Thanksgivings with Mike, and it always gets destroyed. It's the first thing to go. People are tentative at first, and then they go
so
for it.
good.
Because the pineapple is a hint. It's not overpowering, you know?
There's a lot of pineapple in there. But
yeah, but it doesn't taste like pineapple, or at least maybe I can't remember.
It basically tastes like it's kind of cakey.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Oh.
It's so fucking good.
Oh, man. Did you shut the heater off? The heater always makes me feel weird. We got these heaters. They, burn dust.
I like that smell, though.
Do you?
Yeah. It's like the first time you turn on the heaters in a house from the winter, burns off all that dust, and it's a nice, cool day.
I guess it could be the heater.
That dusty smell.
Or the moldy cigar I
Dude,
smoked.
have you... Oh, my God.
Mike and I smoked cigars the other day, and we bought these cigars that were they had mold on them.
Well, I took out mine, and it was clearly fucked up.
Yours was too moldy to smoke. Mine had a fair amount of mold on it.
I didn't even see that, though. I
was halfway
your
through.
mold.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I was halfway through smoking mine when you busted yours out, and it was just mold city. I don't know.
Oldie moldy.
I don't know.
Dude, have you
mold.
fucking noticed? So the scooter things are happening everywhere now. But you know what else is fucking happening now? Fucking barber shops. Barber shops that have steampunk logos and you get the moist hot towel on your face and they do the straight edge razor and all that. They are everywhere.
But is that a German thing? Because in Germany it's happening. In every German city I've been in lately, it's overrun with barber shops.
There are at least
Do you think they're doing
15
in the
or
States
20
too?
right now in downtown Darmstadt.
Some from the States let us know if barbershops are popping up there too. But here in Germany, for sure, it's insane. Because it's crazy. Corona in Darmstadt, where Mike and I live, knocked out a lot of businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And when you drive downtown and you see the local businesses coming in, they're not what I expected them to be. A lot of them are barbershops or tattoo places.
Right.
There's 10 new tattoo places in Darmstadt. I don't know if you noticed that yet, but if you go down to Luisenplatz, down whatever the fuck that's called.
Yeah.
That main strip from the Hauptbahnhof, from the train station, it's just tattoo place, yoga place, barbershop, tattoo, yoga, barbershop, tattoo, yoga, barbershop.
See, I think if I were to come up with a business model, it would be tattoos and barbershop in the same tats and cuts. Tats and cuts.
You're just gonna put it out there for free, man.
Yeah, whatever. Somebody can do it.
Tats and cuts.
I'm not doing it.
Tats and cuts. Is that supposed to sound like tits and ass or something?
Tats, cuts, and coffee or something like that.
Tats, cuts, and yeah. But really, it's these barbershops and tattoo parlors. That's it, man. That's all you see.
Mm-hmm. They really are. There's a huge influx. Which
is there that many people getting tattoos? I mean, you have tattoos. You're tatted up
I got
over there.
tattoos, which makes me hard as fuck.
Yeah, you're hard as fuck, dude. You're hardcore. Yeah, I don't know, man. Tattoos, I guess. But is there longevity in that business? It just seems like tattoos have been around for a while, I guess.
But the thing is,
how much does a tattoo cost? You have a small tattoo, but how much does that cost?
The first one I got on a discount for €50. The other one was €70, and the other one is much simpler.
How long did it take?
Nothing. I mean, this one, there's, if you don't know, my kids' names are Jack and Jeannie, and on my right arm, maybe about an inch long, I got Jack, and it's the Schrift. The font of Jack Daniels, right? And it's on my arm there, and then they did a fade in the inside. Mm. So that just took a little bit of time, but I was in and out in 45 minutes, I guess. And this other one is just handwriting of Jeannie on my arm, and that one was more expensive because I went to a different place. But that one I was done like 15 fucking minutes.
So $100 though, or something like that.
Yeah. The thing is though, that's
a good business then. I guess you just need a couple people a day.
It's not bad. It's
Okay.
it's not a bad business. And the thing about it is these are cheap as fuck. I mean,
like to produce
a lot
you
of
from
people.
their side.
No, I mean just the ones I got
Oh.
happen to be just black and they're just tiny and
I
I'm
see.
in and out. There are people who go fucking nuts.
Is it like a set price for tattoo? I have no idea about tattoos.
No,
I've never come
I-
close to getting one.
Because you can do basically anything. You can like get pictures tattooed on you, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know some of them are like fucking art. Like it's like
Exactly, and people
but
go
I
nuts
imagine
with
those
them.
are very expensive.
And people go nuts with them, like so they have these big projects, like they'll do a sleeve, and that one you have to do multiple sittings for.
Okay.
You have to go back like 3 or 4 times, and they'll do like this and that and that, and those. So those projects must cost a lot, but more than that, like people who are getting sleeves
Yeah.
are probably getting other tattoos all over their body too. So with one customer who likes to get tattoos, if you can find one person,
That's true.
Then
you're
you
gonna,
got a lot
you're
of
gonna
money
milk
coming
them
in.
out for some.
yeah.
You got any more tattoos planned?
Like I wanted to get all aboard tattooed on the side of my dick.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Just no peeking tattooed on your taint.
My father said
yeah.
he once interviewed somebody for a job, and the guy had "fuck you" tattooed on the bottom of his tongue.
You got to get those ones redone a lot. They go away after a couple weeks.
On the bottom of your tongue.
Yeah, anything inside your mouth, like lip tattoos, I think they go away pretty fucking fast.
Who the fuck would ever think of doing that?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, I did say I
Yeah.
did always. So, do you know who Arthur Rackham was?
No.
No,
I have
he
no
did this famous set of illustrations about the Ring, right?
The Wagner cycle.
Yeah,
the
the
Ring.
Wagner cycle, the Ring,
Okay.
and it's like Art Nouveau, right?
Yeah.
Art Nouveau style, fucking awesome. And I always said, whenever I do Mima for the first time, I'm gonna
Yeah.
get that Arthur Rackham Mima tattooed on me, like on
Where?
the back
Are
of my
you,
arm.
Are you indicating, or was that an itch?
No, that
Oh.
was on the back. I don't
On
know
your-
where the fuck I'm getting it. Maybe
Okay. Tricep
maybe
or
on
something.
one nipple.
On the grundle.
On
Yeah, dude. I think those tattoos are crazy, man. Like, you take someone out, like you come home, you get naked, and then suddenly they got something like an arrow pointing down,
Yeah.
or like wide load tattooed, and you're
Look,
like, fuck.
I am not.
No
I'm,
surprise tattoos. Come on, don't
Well,
do
yeah,
that.
that's the. It's actually better, I think, to have a surprise tattoo than fucking like half your face is tattooed like a panther or something. Those are those.
Oh, you got to
can't-
commit to the lifestyle. It's crazy how many different lifestyles there are. When I was in London or Birmingham or somewhere up there in the UK recently, Birmingham doing that singing, there's a great pub scene. That's my favorite thing about the UK, London, Birmingham, these cities is like it's just endless pubs, and you can go like any time of day. And I was at all these like grungy craft beer places, and everyone there had like leather and tattoos and shit. And I didn't bring any of my cool clothes, so I was sitting there like dressed like Wall Street, feeling like an asshole, And it's just there's a lot of people living different lifestyles. There's a lot of people that never have to wear a suit unless someone dies.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't think about the fact that I have to very often wear a suit.
Yeah.
Every month, basically, and so do you. But there's a lot of people out there where it's like, they never have to do that shit.
Yeah, and there are
I'm
people
kinda
who
jealous
only
of them.
wear suits during the days.
There's a wide spectrum. And for some reason in that moment, I was like, I've never really thought about that because I'm either with suit people wearing suits or I'm with grungy people wearing my leather jacket or whatever like that. But there's a lot of people where it's like, they never cross over.
Well, that's and
then you can commit to the fucking tiger tattoo.
yeah,
I think.
exactly. You can't be like a banker on Wall Street
That'd be hilarious.
and have just fucking face tattoos all over. You can.
You'd be
but
the
that's-
one. You'd be the one.
So there's nothing to stop you,
yeah.
right? But there is certainly a prejudice against tattoos, and which is why I don't have anything against tattoos, but I would definitely tell somebody you have to recognize, even though it's unfair, that people do discriminate against people with big visible tattoos. It's why I got my tattoos where I did. So
on your forearm.
if you stick out your hand for people who are just, well, you're all fucking just listening. If you stick out your arm like
people
to
just
get a
tuning in.
handshake,
Yeah.
the lower part of your arm, the part of your forearm that is facing the floor, that's where I got my tattoo because I always thought to myself, if I have like a polo shirt on and I want to shake somebody, an important person's hand or something, I can put out my hand. They don't see any tattoo, right?
Okay.
I'm not ashamed of it.
But just first
But I thought to
impressions.
myself, why the fuck do they need to see that in that moment?
Yeah, I get it. It's good to go in neutral sometimes. Yeah, it's weird. It's actually, I think the reason I didn't get a tattoo is honestly because I thought it would fuck up my opera career when I was young. I remember being 18, 19, and I was making that crossover from like doing rock music, which everyone had tattoos and shit, and I felt like, I was like, well, I got to get one to belong to that subculture. Yeah, man, I wanted a tattoo. I wanted some fucking ink. And then I was getting into opera around that time. And I remember talking to people about it, like, oh, you're not going to get a career like that. Could you imagine Don Giovanni with a tattoo?
Of course you can.
Which I was naive. I was young. But these days, it's like, I got a lot of opinions about that. Like, one, if you want a tattoo, you're going to not get a tattoo because you sing opera. That's a fucking lame way to live your life. And two, these days, they seem to kind of want that more, you know?
Well, do you remember...
Get a tattoo, shave the side of your head, get a nose ring, and get that gig.
Do you remember that Bayreuth singer, Evgeny Nikitin? Or whatever,
the Nazi
Nicotine.
tattoo or what?
Yeah, I guess...
Well, don't get a fucking swastika tattooed on your chest.
Especially if you're going to Bayreuth to sing Wagner. So, look... Swastika tattoos are ill-advised, to say the least. But
don't do that.
You cannot think of a less appropriate place to do it than in Bayreuth.
Yeah, I guess
They're already fighting some pretty hardcore Wagner anti-Semitism, and then a guy comes up singing fucking Dutchman with a swastika, and his excuse was so fucking lame. Oh, the tattoo's unfinished. That's just part of another fucking... That's part of the grander scheme, which I guess he did change. It was a picture that later came up, right?
Yeah, okay.
So the picture came up, and then it showed him with that tattoo. Which, whatever. Hey, look, you got to pay. Sometimes you got to pay a price for being so fucking stupid.
If it's part of a that's such a lame excuse. If it's a part of a bigger picture, maybe do that part last. Maybe let the swastika be the cherry on top of whatever you're fucking doing. Don't start there.
Maybe it was just a joke the tattoo artist played on him.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do any more today. And he walks out. He's got a big fucking swastika on
What's
his...
crazy is I don't know the history about it that much, but the swastika, it was like an Indian thing, wasn't it? Like an
It's
Indian
all
religious thing.
over.
And isn't it very... It's a very peaceful thing, isn't it? Doesn't it have like some meaning of balance or something?
So
I can't remember.
It's a shame because swastika, like the swastika, that symbol was completely co-opted by the Nazis, right?
Yeah, sure.
It was a symbol to symbolize the sun, to symbolize peace in cultures all around the world.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the yin-yang sign.
Yeah.
Yin-yang, which, by the way, is not straight. I think the first known use of that sign was actually on a Roman shield.
Crazy.
That's the earliest one that they know of. That a Roman soldier's shield had this yin-yang thing on it, right?
Yeah.
But also swastikas in that time were also by cultures completely unrelated to one another. They all came up with that sign. And then comes this fucking dickwad Hitler and uses that sign, and now it's fucked up for the rest of... I once remember seeing a house for sale before the National Socialism co-opted it.
Yeah.
And it was an old house that had on the wall just a bunch of they decided they wanted to paint a pattern, and it was just a bunch of fucking swastikas.
What? It was like pre-war.
It was pre-war.
Oh, I see.
They weren't Nazis or anything. It was in America. It was just some fucking guy, and he's like,
crazy.
"Oh, that's a cool." Imagine that. At one point, it was just a pattern.
I mean, he did it with music too. Like, didn't he take who did he take that from? Strauss or something, right? Didn't like Hitler he isn't the Nazi theme like a Strauss song or something?
Well, I don't know about a Nazi theme. I don't know about one particular one.
I don't know.
I know that Hitler's favorite party trick was to be able to whistle all of the leitmotifs from The Ring.
Oh, that's right.
All
You
of
said that
them.
once. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. But people still do that to this day. I mean, it's like words get changed, songs get used for something, and then it goes, and then it's like it gets attached to a cause or something like that.
Totally.
And then it's different forever. You know.
Well, look at this. Can you walk around with a red hat anymore?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Can't.
Yeah, that's similar to the swastika. It's like, it's like a red hat. It's like he took red hats, you know?
He stole red hats. Actually, Joe Rogan made that point. He's like, it was in my lifetime. Rainbows didn't used to mean gay. They
Yeah.
were just rainbows. And then they took that shit over so thoroughly that now that's what that means.
That's
and you
crazy.
can't do anything about it. They took that over.
That's crazy.
Actually, it was a really funny bit that he said because he's like, what gay people should start doing whenever somebody gets after them, like it was the Duck Dynasty guy he was talking about.
Yeah.
And he's like, they shouldn't like complain about it. What they should all do is just start using like the gays, the way they took over the gay community, the way they took over the rainbow.
Yeah.
They should just do the same thing with like duck calls and like duck camo and stuff like that.
Flesh, yeah.
Where all these people who are homophobic then all of a sudden are wearing the thing that that the gay community is wearing. They could just take it over.
It's so weird.
True.
I wonder how much control you have, because every time there's like a person in power or a celebrity or something like that, it's like they often kind of like every president that's been around my life creates a word. And that word like didn't exist before,
right.
And now it's like that's a part of everyone's vocabulary. Like
what specific example are you thinking of?
Like Trump with fake news.
Fake news is a big one,
and
yeah.
also like when Bush was president, it's like it wasn't terrorism, but he had another thing he said a lot. It's like it wasn't a part of my vocabulary.
Right.
Like, until he started like pushing the word and stuff like that.
Sure.
And then they push politicians. They do that. They introduce a word that's like not used or invented, and then it pushes a narrative. It has a cause behind it.
Oh yeah,
something
they
like
actually
that.
coordinate it. I mean, the Democratic and Republican parties, they'll send out these memos. And all of a sudden, you'll hear all of the politicians in that party start saying these buzzwords.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah,
it's really creepy.
It's crazy, and then it taps into our like human sense of wanting to belong to like a group or something like that. And if you're not using and all these buzzwords, there's political buzzwords, there's business buzzwords, and so there's all these current political buzzwords like virtue signaling is the newest one.
That's right.
That wasn't a word before 2020. Now all these businesses, with whatever causes have come and gone this year, it's like they post their thing, then they never talk about it again.
Right.
Boom, there's a name for that, virtue signaling, right?
Yeah.
And from the left and right, there's these words. But it's crazy that people also do that with music. It'd be crazy if someone, I mean, we did that, right? We took the Tosca theme and we made it our theme of our podcast.
Yeah,
and
there are a lot of people now.
People write us all the time. They're like, every time I hear Tosca, I think of your fucking podcast. You know?
Yeah,
It's
we
like,
we took it.
we took it.
We took it.
You can take whatever you want. It's nuts. I'd be cool if someone stole my music, though, but for something cool, you know?
I thought somebody did steal your music.
Well, they did, yeah, for like that haunted thing. But it'd be funny if they like took it for like a movement. Trump tried to do that. Didn't he like try to play songs and like people sued him because they're like, I didn't give you the rights and shit like that.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. What was it?
It was that song about the army and the soldier. I can almost sing it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's funny because it's not. It's like it's a song about like draft dodging or something like that. It's like nobody listened to the words of that song.
Oh, was it Bob Dylan?
No, it was. I can almost sing it, but no, you guys can look it up.
Yeah, you guys can fucking look it up, man.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Mike and I found once. I was watching. I went through a phase.
Oh my God, yes.
Well, I went through a phase where I was watching a bunch of nature shows, and I was watching this shark. We probably talked about this before on the podcast. I was watching this shark documentary, and they just like go to this cut scene where they're like going from like this part of the world to the next part of the world, and I was like, I fucking know this music.
And he said it to me. He's like, Mike, does this seem familiar to you?
Yeah, and I didn't know it. I was like, I have heard this before. And I sent it to Mike, and you're like, yeah, that's the
Vixen.
Yeah, the porn.
There's a porn channel, like a producer named Vixen, right? And they use that music.
Yeah,
and
like
it was
studio.
the History Channel using it.
Yeah, and it was a History Channel, Discovery Channel. They used it in their thing, and it was hilarious to me because one, it's like, man, with algorithms and shit this day, you can search who did that.
Right.
You know, who fucking made that? They didn't know that theme music. And also, as a composer, it's like someone did not write that, obviously, then for Vixen.
Right.
Obviously, that's just a stock music thing that Vixen bought the license to for $20, and we could make it the theme song to our podcast.
Absolutely.
Which maybe we should start doing.
Oh my God, that's a pretty good idea.
But that's funny because you think that in like advertisements and stuff like that, like someone wrote the music for that. That is not how it works.
Right.
They just went, clicked, downloaded it. So if you like stock photos, if I took a picture of you, Mike, outside doing some shit, and I sold it online with the license for $10, someone could buy it, put your face on the side of a bus about erectile dysfunction.
Well, that's
and it's
exactly
just
what
like,
we were talking about on the Instagram account. Is your vagina burning? Right, and it's just this girl like. Gah.
Yeah. Oh
And I'm
yeah,
like, fuck.
like on our street near our studio,
Yeah.
there's all these. like does your dick itch? Like it's these really intense STD ads, and it's just like I don't think that person knew that
No,
that's what their photo was getting
I don't think
used
so
for.
either.
Because that's not how stock photos, that's not how stock music works. And these days, that's how it works. No one's buying. The market's so flooded. No one is buying unique music. It's very rare.
Right.
It's so much easier just to pay $5, download the license, boom, there's your fucking music.
Exactly.
You know?
The thing that
Use it
I
for anything.
find funny about that whole story is there's no way the editor didn't know. He put it in for a joke. I'm positive.
I wonder.
I'm positive.
Yeah, there's no way, because a lot of people, that goes through a lot of hands, and but also it's like, it's one of those situations that's really comical. You know, it's like comic writing, because it's like a Seinfeld type thing. It's like, because to say something,
It's the Elaine mannequin.
But you'd have to, but also to say something, you would have to admit that you watch enough porn to recognize where that's from.
Sorry,
You know?
I did. I know that channel. Sorry. I'm not. But fuck it.
Obviously, you wouldn't have a problem with it, but so many people would. You know,
Yeah, I know, but
it's some soccer mom from Minnesota, and she's like, "Oh, that's that porn song from the videos I hook my G to." Like,
I did not know that.
hooking the G.
No.
All right, you guys can have that one for free.
I did not know that phrase until today. But the statistics, we've talked about this before too. The statistics are perfectly clear.
Yeah.
So few people admit to watching porn, and then the numbers on porn sites are so they're so high that the actual percentage of people that watch porn or say they watch porn is much lower than the people.
Oh, of course.
Than the number that actually watch it.
The number, like, there are so many porn videos that have like millions, tens of 20 millions of views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and Mike and I, we posted on the Instagram once. We posted that musical porno. They made a musical porn.
Oh, yeah.
Who was that? Was it Brazzers? Who did that shit?
Yeah, I think so.
Or someone else. I don't know. But musical porn. And
It was really good.
yeah, and Mike and I were going to send him an email. We were going to be like, we will write you
A porn opera.
a porn opera one. But the problem is with that is you would have to find actors and actresses, and it would have to be a high standard. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Those people could sing, but you could auto-tune the shit out of musical stuff since it's straight tone and
Right.
it's still going to sound fine. It's just going to be that genre of musical. But if you're going to do an opera porno, you would need real fucking opera singers that like have chops.
I mean, it wasn't a porn. It was just
It became a
song
porn.
about. Did they?
Yeah, they fucked. Of course, those are porn stars. They're not going to just sing a song about porn.
I think. But did you see another half to the video? I didn't see it.
No, I just assumed.
You
though.
just assumed.
They're both porn stars.
Yeah.
Why would your porn star sing a musical about porn?
Because it's funny and it's
think they
able to be
fucked.
put out.
We'll do some research and we'll let you know.
I'll have to do some. Excuse me,
we'll
I gotta
get to
go
the
do
bottom
some
of this.
research.
But
Give
you
me
know what
like
I mean?
15 minutes.
Like an opera porno must exist. Look, anybody, I'm sending you the invitation right now. If an opera porno exists, send us the link. Send it directly to sexdrugsandopera@gmail.com and let us know. Because I don't think it exists yet. I think that's a niche in the market. That's a hole waiting to be filled.
I think I know some opera singers that would be down.
Yeah?
That would be down
Because you would
make
have to
it.
have chops. That's the thing is you can't be wobbling and warbling.
Right.
You got to be fucking vibrant.
While you're wobbling and warbling.
No, you gotta be like you gotta be having some chops on both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I mean you gotta be able to be singing like some music that people would recognize, or I guess you'd have to write something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the porno? I mean, do we write new material?
Yeah, dude, you're great at that shit. Wouldn't you want to write it?
Yeah, I guess so. Because usually it's like a coach and a singer, and they're singing, and then like it happens. But like,
Well,
are you
then you
imagining?
could do both.
Yeah.
Then you
Okay.
could do both. You could make the scene where she's singing her aria and he's correcting her, blah 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 blah. And no, you need to support lower, and there you go.
Yeah, that's easy. That's easy.
And then it's all. And then you write the scene. The
Are they
music.
singing during though?
Yeah.
I did a show a while back where we had a threesome on stage, and there was tons of dry humping and singing. There was orgasmic singing. That shit was going on. And it did not go over well.
Yeah,
we
most
did it,
of the.
We did it in Estonia on the Russian border in Narva. In Narva, yeah. And that's a very, I guess, because we did a tour in Berlin, they just were like, no. You know, they were like disapproved. And the more we went east, every city, we went to Latvia, the big city in Latvia. What's that called? I can't remember. We went there, and then we went to Tallinn in Estonia. Then we went to the border of Russia, and we did it in this 1,000-person theater. And I remember during this threesome sing, I was always laying under the bed hiding. That was my role, and I would always just like peek out and look at the audience.
That's hilarious.
And everyone always had their phones out, right? So there's all these videos of me like not tagged out on the internet somewhere, right? Which is hilarious. But after the intermission, 850 people left.
Oh my God.
100 came back. It was nuts. It was a mass exodus.
Oh my God. 850.
That's how offended they were. Because we hit them with the threesome right before the break. Because you got to process that. So I don't want to interrupt you. What did you want to say?
I can't remember. That's just brilliant, though.
Oh, I mean, and there's some sort of pride in that. If you could do something that makes almost 1,000 people like unanimously say, "Fuck this shit, I'm leaving."
Look, we are really, really, really thankful for all the sponsors we have. That means that there are people out there who really like what we do. But Jared and I had an epiphany the other day about how absolutely niche what we do is, meaning we like talking about opera this way. And there are people who like talking about opera this way, but there are, I think, a lot more people who like to talk about opera. And Tosca comes out and she gives him a kiss, and then he puts it in her. Right? Like that sort of thing.
We should do a whole podcast like that sometime.
Welcome to WWRH Radio.
But the topic has to be...
fuck yourself.
Because our topics are always like drugs and opera, but you'd have to be like, what is a stingy topic that they do? Like Mozart's influence on the blah, blah, blah.
Right, something about his fucking recit.
Yeah,
something that puts you to
like
sleep.
That. Which is funny because I'm not going to go down the road on it, but Mike and I have been, kind of like doing this recital shit lately with music I wrote, and the stuff people say about my music is so much more impressive than what I did. Do you know what I mean?
What do you mean? No.
Like we had that show, and that woman came up to us. She was like, "The way you use these Middle Eastern drum beats was really impressive." And she's like, "And because it's usually used in a religious blah 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 blah." And she had concocted this whole like you used a religious drum beat from the Middle East, so you brought in this Middle East factor to what you were saying in this religious blah blah blah. It's like I didn't do any of that shit, you know? But she's right actually. That beat is something you hear in like Indian drumming and like the Middle East and stuff like that, and also it is used in religious stuff. It's like old, like these ragas and these old Indian things. She's right. That rhythm is used.
Okay,
but I didn't do that at all. But I would gladly be like, "Oh, you caught that,
yeah,
didn't
good."
You know, and I mean, come on, like at least some amount of Mozart and the shit we talk about. Some of it has got to be us doing it.
No, a lot of it. It is so. I think. Most of academia is filled with a bunch of fucking people like saying, "I figured it out. I figured out what Mozart was trying to do," and it's just them interpolating their fucking like what they want to see in the music. They can make it fit, which is fine.
Yeah,
which is fine. Go ahead and put that on the music, but you don't really have grounds to say that is what they intended. Like I have. In Die Schöne Müllerin, they have there's the one song called Die Liebefarbe, and it always has this one note that just keeps repeating dun 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 dun.
Is that the Liebefarbe?
Dun, dun, throughout the entire song. The rest of the song happens around it, but this one thing keeps repeating. So it never doesn't happen whenever in that exact rhythm throughout the song, and. I always came up like, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the hunter's horn. It's driving him crazy. That's the hunter's horn is driving the young guy in Die Schöne Müllerin crazy, and that's why he eventually kills himself at the end. Cool interpretation, most likely has nothing to fucking do with what Schubert intended. Most likely.
Motifs are obviously intentional. You know, like when you hear a motif and then it's like it's done every time that character enters the room. Yeah. That's obviously intentional, motifs and stuff like that. But these other interpretations we do of like rhythms and stuff like that, because also because music's really an amassment of like what we've listened to and our interests and like our preferences and shit like that. And every individual person, if they wrote music, would have their style. Rhythms they do a lot. You've sung enough of my music where you know a lot of things I will do in everything I
Absolutely,
write.
yeah.
Yeah, but I do it because I fucking like it. It's not some like grand political like reason I fucking do it. But that's most people.
But in the future, that's what somebody's going to put onto your.
Well, that's what they would. No one's going to talk about my fucking music after I die. But like, but with these people, it's like there's some stuff they do intentionally and stuff like that. But also, it's hard to see through the bullshit because whenever I have to write a bio about my stuff, you know what I mean? I create things that aren't there, and I think a lot of people do that. You know, it's just like, yeah, well, this represents the chaos that, and then you say some shit, and it fits it. And because it came from you, it sounds legitimate. But it's like I just fucking thought it was.
I
cool.
liked it. I liked the way it sounded. Right.
Well, because like the best music is authentic, right? And authenticity is you did it just because, you know, because people like actors who try to figure out what their cry face should look like never have a convincing job acting because it's like, man, just do it. Do your version of it,
right?
And lose yourself in it.
Which is why the criticism of actors when they say, "Oh, that person," it's always that person. It's just in a new role, right? You can always see it. It's always the same. Like Rachel McAdams. It's just, it's that's what she does. It's Rachel McAdams, and it's a new role, but she didn't really change anything, right? And I think to myself, I'm okay with that. Not every fucking actor has to be a goddamn chameleon, right?
Yeah.
Like if she's giving me real emotion. I want to see that.
Which is funny because in the world of opera, that's a bad thing.
What?
If you're a chameleon, you know, if you're changing your voice to sing Mozart and you're changing your voice to sing Wagner, people would shit on you.
Yeah, but should they?
No, but they would.
I mean, I try to change my voice.
Yeah,
I try to, but not like. I mean, yeah, there's a certain amount where like your voice will crash and burn if you change it too much. I guess.
Yeah, but at a certain point in opera, you are hired as a singer of a Fach.
Right.
And if your career gets big enough, you are hired as a brand. They are hiring Jared Ice, not the bass baritone.
Yeah.
We need and right now in my career, I'm a type. I am a bass baritone of a certain age and a certain look with a certain type of voice, and they hire that. They don't hire me.
Right.
Right. But if you become Anna Netrebko or Jonas Kaufman, then your voice is your brand. And
which means you need to stick to it, I guess.
And then you're getting Jared. You know,
right.
Papageno's gonna be Jared.
Right.
Flying Dutchman, Jared. You know, it's like I'm not changing shit. But when you're just a singer, sometimes it's more authentic because you don't have any of that shit fucking you up.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? You're just like, I'm gonna try to do this as convincingly as possible. You know, because it's like they throw you into musical theater police. You're like, I don't sing theater, but fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. You think Jonas Kaufman would ever do that shit?
I mean, so it's funny because I also, like, when I do musical theater, I think to myself, don't just sing it like you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really try to become like a musical theater singer. And I don't really ever try to become like a Wagner singer.
Yeah.
I don't, but if somebody did and somebody could do it convincingly, more power to them.
Yeah.
More fucking power to them.
Mm-hmm.
I will change. I just don't give a fuck about if it sounds pretty or if it's like classical vocal technique sometimes when I'm doing stuff, right? But that's different than like this is what a Wagner singer sounds like, so that's what I'm going to sound like today, and this is what Rossini sounds like, so that's what I'm going to do
I think it's
today.
a hard hurdle. I think it's a hard hurdle that most people never get over in their singing. Is this like what's the word? Like you're not doing your voice, but you're always there's a better word for it, but it's like you're trying to sound like somebody else.
Imitating somebody.
Yeah, it's like an imitation or something like that. It's like you're always trying to sound like what a Wagner singer should sound like because someone told you when you're 22 that you're a dramatic tenor.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
It absolutely kills artistry. It absolutely kills
individuality. I think we should get rid of these Fächer, man. I think we should get rid of the Fachs.
Well, they didn't used to. I mean, like, look at the recordings that fucking Maria Callas made, right? She didn't just sing one thing. Oftentimes people will say, "Oh, my voice is too heavy for Rossini." What? She sang fucking Tosca and then would go and do Rosina like that.
Yeah.
Like fucking nothing.
Yeah. I mean, people have preferences, but preferences have somehow become like what you can and can't do.
Like
you're nailing it, but your voice is too heavy for this, which...
Why?
Isn't that a preference thing?
That's like just your opinion, man.
That's just your opinion, man. But it's crazy the stuff that becomes mainstream, you know, like the operatic stuff that crosses over into the mainstream sector. And this stuff, because it's like we talked about with Mozart, it's like I often wonder to myself, how much of this stuff has stood the test of time because it's that good? A lot of it's good, but how much of it has also stood the test of the time because it just keeps coming up and up and up? It's political shit. If you look at a lot of operas and stuff like that, and how they got redone, it's political shit usually. It's political stuff. We're playing that piece, and we're going to play that piece again. You know what I mean? And we did a whole podcast on Golden Age and that stuff, and you guys should listen to that. But basically, it's like, if you play a piece of opera in a movie, it's going to be more effective because they're like, I know that piece.
Right.
It's hard to make it effective when you don't know it.
Right, like Continental Airlines used Rhapsody in Blue.
Yeah.
And now everybody in America at least knows dun 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 dun, because that's what Continental did.
Yeah.
Everybody fucking knew it. So, but it is a good. It's not like some. Here's the one that gets me. I'll tell you which piece baffles me somehow.
Okay.
Eine kleine Nachtmusik. Every single person knows dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun. Right, but why? That's not like one of
because it's in movies a lot. That's what I mean. It's like,
but why is it in movies a lot? It's not like it's not a huge major piece of Mozart's. It's this tiny little fucking frivolous thing that he wrote,
that's what I mean.
and everybody knows
and
it.
someone used it for something, because it's hard to know. Like, it's like a chicken and an egg conversation, because we talked about it on the Wagner podcast. Like, Wagner, because one of the reasons these people are geniuses. Mike and I aren't shitting these people. One of the reasons Wagner was a genius with his music is because he needed the sound of pirates, and he created the sound of pirates, which I don't think existed before that. Pirates, we talked about, they did like sea chanties and shit. Like, they didn't have this dramatic swelling shit, but Wagner just captured the ocean and pirates and wood and like the whole thing. And in Pirates of the Caribbean, you still hear traces of that pirate sound that we've come to recognize.
And in all the pirate movies before that,
as pirate
all
music.
that. Yeah.
And so some people just nailed it. And so I'm sure someone had like a pompous court scene, and they used Mozart's music because it was perfect for that, because that's what it was written for. It was written for these like stockings and powdered wigs and shit, and it sounds like that.
Yeah, but okay, true. But it seemed to be known even before. And this is just a conjecture, but it seemed to be known even before, like the movie scene and everything. Like, it was always around that piece of music.
Yeah, okay.
Just that one.
All right.
So it's like, what is it about that one fucking piece of music? And what do you think is the most recognizable piece of music?
Oh God, these
What
are big
is
questions.
the most
Well,
one?
first off, the Eine kleine Nachtmusik. Like, the thing is what's hard as a composer sometimes is when you write something, you imagine something, but it's like, if you write something for a person, then you need that person to do it. And there's some like stuff like Verdi wrote, and there's some stuff that's just hard. It's hard to do certain pieces of music, and it's hard to make it work, and it's rarely done well. But if a piece of music is effective and nice but simple, then it's like, it's easy just to throw it together. And so that Mozart piece, I think another factor of it is like, it's very easy to play.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to be a fucking fantastic musician. Any quartet or whatever can just like, yep, do that, and it's effective but pretty simple. Anyone could play it. But some of this like Tchaikovsky shit and stuff, and like Strauss and Mahler, it's like, man, you need some banging musicians and a big group of people to do it well.
Yeah.
So it's also easy to take in as a listener. You know?
That's true, but okay.
It's simple.
Let me play some devil's advocate, right?
All right.
Everybody knows da 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 da. And you need a whole fucking orchestra and a whole fucking choir and soloists.
Well,
to
do it right, but what you just did still would make people like you hear it reduced all the time.
But what I'm saying is it being simple can't be the reason, because that's a huge piece of music. Everybody knows da 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 da. And if it were just if the reason for it being popular were just you can throw it together, then those pieces wouldn't be popular.
Yeah.
So those two, by the way, are really good candidates for one that everybody knows.
I think they would be. I think everybody would know. If we want to stay in the opera genre alone, I think Ride of the Valkyries, a lot of people know.
That's a good one.
I think a lot of people would know that. The Overture to Marriage of Figaro. I think Bugs Bunny did that, didn't they?
That's true. Okay, that's made popular. Yeah.
That's been in so many
The
movies.
Rabbit of Seville.
And it's more about movies. That's what I mean, because it's like, I don't know if a lot of these pieces, like, you can't say they're mainstream because they're so good that they crossed over.
Right.
People talk about it like that's what it is. It's like, no, man, like, they put it in Looney Tunes. It's straight up that dumb. You know, Paul Potts sang Nessun Dorma. That's why people know Nessun Dorma. Unfortunately, it's not. I mean, they're good fucking
it's
songs.
interesting.
And shit. Like Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet. You know what I mean?
Right.
Nobody would know that if in every romantic sing it was
that's right.
like it's every movie.
Yeah.
But if you were like, do you like Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet overture? People would be like, what? Like, what is that shit? Nobody knows, but it's just they just put it down your throat in movies. But
Well, yeah, but okay. So, yeah, that's true. Okay, but there were no movies with Beethoven 5, and everybody knew it even before movies. Or no, I don't know. That's just a conjecture.
I don't know. I have no idea. But what did you say? The Mozart might be the other one. What was the other one you said?
I said the two Beethoven, the
Maybe
Beethoven
you said
9,
the
Beethoven
fifth.
5.
Beethoven 9th, 5th. I would say the Mozart or Beethoven's 5th is probably. But there's some cool ones.
Everybody knows da 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 da. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I mean a lot, and Vivaldi's Four Seasons and shit like that. A lot of people know.
That's true. That's true. But nobody could, like. I feel like okay. So here's the standard: how many people can sing at least 4 or 5 bars of it? That's how far you have to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe the Eine Kleine, like you couldn't really go. You couldn't say to a person on the street, "Hey, sing me some Vivaldi," right?
Yeah.
But you could maybe go to somebody and say, "Hey, sing me da da da," and then they go on, just like in Amadeus.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder how many pieces there are though that we don't know about, because like there's the one by Strauss and it's called Also sprach, and then I can't remember the name. Zarathustra.
Ba, ba, ba. What up?
Yeah, that one. And it's like nobody would know that shit.
That's a good
No
candidate.
one would know that shit, but they did it in 2001 Space Odyssey.
Right.
I think. And also they did that's Richard Strauss, and then Strauss II wrote this waltz. It's like I can't
The
remember what
Blue
it's called.
Danube.
Yeah. How's that go? It's like dun da dum bum bum.
Swap. Yep.
Yeah, that shit. It's like I would never know those probably if they weren't in like Space Odyssey, 2001 Space Odysseys. Both those songs are in that. I think it made both those famous. They went Strauss heavy throughout that whole fucking thing. But movies make these famous. And it's funny, they use opera a lot in movies, I have to say.
Totally.
It's always the same shit. Like one scene I like, of course, Shawshank Redemption. They use the letter duet from
Right.
what's that opera called?
Marriage of Figaro.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole opera's about him. The whole movie's about him writing letters and shit like that. So I don't know if that was intentional.
Oh my God! I never put that together. Fuck.
I wonder. But they do clever shit. Often when they put opera in movies, it's actually not haphazardly. Like usually they actually do it for a really specific reason.
I feel really stupid that I never.
I don't know if they have something to do with
recognize
each
that.
other, but it would be a pretty random choice. Like you do Lakme otherwise, right? Lakme is what you always hear. The Lakme duet, the flower duet.
No, it has to be that. By the way, that recording I think is the recording Marilyn Horne does both voices.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I think the Beethoven 5th. I think the Mozart. I mean, I think most people know Toccata and Fugue in D minor. You know, these ones have crossed over.
Yeah, that's a Fantasia. That's a Fantasia thing.
I mean, it's also but also I like these pieces that have crossed over. Toccata and Fugue. I saw someone do Moonlight Sonata, the fast movement on electric guitar the other day. Fucking badass, man. It works. Music's really good when it crosses genres effortlessly.
Dude, Bach.
You know,
some of my favorite shit is when people play Bach on other instruments.
I mean,
banjo Bach is fucking sweet. Bela Fleck.
The Fleck tones, man.
Yeah,
yes.
Bela Fleck does fucking the partitas and sonatas. That's really the violin partitas and sonatas. That's the one that everybody likes to play.
Yeah.
On mandolin also.
Yeah. Well, his bass player Victor Wooten, dude, you also got to check out his shit. He plays.
I think you mentioned him before, right?
All that shit. He has versions of it where he does it on bass, and that guy revolutionized bass, man. It's incredible. Check that shit out. But these metal guitarists are really good musicians.
By the way,
they're underappreciated.
That reminds me of. Have you seen the movie Crossroads?
No, I don't think so.
That's with what is the Karate Kid's name?
Which one? The good one or the bad one?
No, the
Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio, right?
Yeah.
He's in this thing, and he's a Juilliard classical guitarist, right?
Okay.
But he's obsessed with Robert Johnson, and the blues, right? And of course, they depict the people with Juilliard like, we don't play that kind of music at Juilliard. If you keep playing it, you'll lose your scholarship, right? And that sort of thing. And then he eventually goes down. He meets this guy. It's like, oh yeah, there were 15 songs recorded in Robert Johnson's favorite session, and there's supposed to be a 16th. And this guy's like, I got that fucking song. I'll teach it to you, right? And then they go down to the crossroads because the story was that he sold Robert Johnson sold his soul to the devil for his talent. So they go down and the one guy who said, "Yeah, I will. I'll teach you the song." Also sold his soul to the devil. And then Ralph Macchio battles one of the devil's guys on the guitar, and it's all fucking blues. And the guy's really a rock guitarist, right? Yeah. And then at the end, fucking classical music comes to save the day because Ralph Macchio pulls out like some fucking like Juilliard level fucking classical guitar, and the rock guy can't do it, and he beats him.
It's really funny to think of though.
I cried.
It's really funny to think about though because some music you need the context of the medium in which it's being passed through, an operatic voice or a pop voice or something. And some music somehow transcends that. You know what I mean? Like Hallelujah, I hear opera singers sing that all the time, and it actually works.
Yeah.
You know, in both pop and that. But there's a lot of things like if you tried to belt sing "O mio babbino caro," it's like that would be weird. Like even if I'd never heard it before, I don't know. Because operatic, one of the biggest differences between pop and opera singing is operatic. It's like the notes are so long, the melodies are so drawn out. You know what I mean? And you don't hear that in pop music very often.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think you could belt it because then, like, that note is
the high A. Yeah, you couldn't belt an A5. You know,
because it would just be too like
you couldn't. No, you couldn't. I mean, Celine Dion, the people that were belting Fs, that's the highest you really hear.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Christina Aguilera and stuff, E5, F5, and there's these funk singers that do like mix shit G and A, but it's not real.
And even if you
but
could,
even if you transpose
right.
it, but I'm talking about sheerly the melody. Like Bach, Toccata and Fugue, you do it on guitar, you do it on violin, you do it. It's like it doesn't matter. You know,
that's right.
And there's some operatic shit and that also crosses over. But there's because one of the things I hated most about studying music is you lose at some point a lot of the mystery. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's
the mystery of music, and I miss that. I miss being like, this is great, and I don't know why. And it's like now I have too much definition. You know?
I guess, but
and
Richard Feynman was the one that talked about. So this physicist, he had a friend who was an artist, and they would get into these conversations, and the artist would say, "Look, when I see a flower, I see the aesthetic beauty of a flower, and I understand it in this artistic way. But when you see a flower, you're just like, oh, well, the molecules are interacting with each other, and blah 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 blah." And he was trying to say that like the science was sort of stale and made it stale and disgusting. The further understanding, what Richard Feynman said was, no, all the aesthetic beauty that you see is also available to me. But I can ask it now because of that education. I can ask different questions. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why does that flower have that color? Oh, it's because it's to attract bees.
I mean,
that means bees can see color. And then you go down this beautiful fucking road.
I guess. I understand that point. But, like, could you neutrally listen to an operatic voice the way that, like, your parents could or someone that didn't study it? No.
No, I couldn't, but I get swept away by it.
Yeah, but it has to be cream of the crop. You know?
Yeah, it has to be cream of the crop.
Like people who don't know opera, they'll listen to this shit and they're like, "Isn't this great?" I'm like, "That's wobbly as shit. Get that wobbly shit out of here." You know?
Right. That's why oftentimes opera singers hate like these America's Got Talent people that come out and can vaguely impersonate what an opera singer should sound like, but that's because they know it's fucking old.
Yeah, but
old
that's
Dunnan and Kruger coming back.
Is there's a lot of stuff that I know from studying music that I'm glad I can like be like, oh, I know exactly the answer to your question. But a lot of the mystery like goes away.
What would you shut down if you could forget something so that you could enjoy music just based on moving power?
I mean, forget singing, right? Because singing's a whole thing. But I wish I didn't have so many definitions. Because when you can define something, I think that ruins it sometimes. So, like when modulations happen, I know when it's a 5 of 5. I know when it's a deceptive cadence. I know when it's a Neapolitan 6 and a Picardy third. It's like
Right.
I know when it's a 4/3 suspension, and it's like I hear what's happening,
Right.
and my mind's like, "There's a 4/3." Like it defines it instead of just like. I remember young, my parents made me go to church, but I would love when the song would end and it'd be like, fa, mi, re, mi. I
Right.
loved that, but I didn't know what it was. I was just like, ooh, that's so cool. And I didn't have words to describe it, and I would just wait for it because I couldn't replicate it myself.
No.
I didn't even know how to find it, But now it's like, I know what that is. It's like, fucking 4/3s again, man.
Yeah.
This shit. And, it was cooler when I didn't have that. It was cooler when I couldn't define it, and it was, and I didn't even have the words to describe it. Well, French music's so beautiful, but I didn't know what 6 chords were and 9s and shit.
Right.
I didn't know what Debussy was
No,
doing.
that's interesting. That's actually okay. I get what you're saying. I like it because when you're hit with a chord change, it's like you're just being taken on a road that you've never been on before. All of a sudden, you're going right instead of straight. And holy shit, what's happening? If it is mysterious, I guess so.
Yeah, but if you hear it too much, you're just like, like every time you hear the flat 4. At the end of the French song, you do the major 4, you do the flat 4 with the 6, and then you go back to 1. It's like, whoa, that's French as fuck. But every time I hear the flat 4 with the 6, I'm just like, they use that trick. The first person who did it.
The music is dead in you, dude.
The first person who did it must have figured out. But when you compose it, it's just tricks. It's 5 of 5. It's flat 4. It's fucking deceptive cadences.
Are all the tricks figured out? Are all the good tricks figured out?
I mean, I don't know what's left. I mean, like you can do it in a different way. I think for me, the next.
So maybe the post-tonalists were right.
I think the
burning down the house.
I think this might be a secret sponsor thing because we're getting long here, so I don't know if I want to go down this road, but I'll do it.
Yeah, no, fuck it. Keep it for the save. Maybe you tease.
Now we always say that, then we forget it because.
Do we have a sponsor to announce this week?
No, we have to do our Rigoletto stuff though.
Oh yeah.
Well, then remind me on the secret sponsor podcast. I want to talk about how mixing music can kind of open up a fourth dimension.
Okay.
Because we have melody and we have harmony and we have like timbral texture from instruments, but I think something a lot of classical musicians don't really think about is the fact of, like with synthesizers and synthwave and stuff, how realigning the overtones is a fourth dimension to something. Like what if a sound gets quieter but the overtone cluster is raising at the same time? You know what I mean? What does that dimension do to the sound? That's something you can't do in a physical world.
Dude, if you guys want to hear the discussion, how this goes on, that's fucking interesting as fuck. I actually want to hear it, but I don't have to become a sponsor because I'm on the fucking thing. If you guys do want to become a sponsor, you can visit us on Patreon and sponsor us and get access to all of the secret sponsor content from the past 3 years. And all of a sudden, you have double the podcast.
Double the podcast. So let's. We're gonna do our Hollywood casting that we didn't do.
Oh yeah,
on the last one. So let's get some tunes here. Talking about music that will stand the test of time.
People will be analyzing that shit for centuries, dude.
Fake ass trumpets and fake ass snare.
This was happening around. He composed this quite close to the time that Biden was elected president. It is the triumphal march of the Democrats over the turbulent Trump era.
But World War III's was encompassed by their use of the Hollywood theme. Like some antichrist is going to use this as their theme.
You know what? Some fucking dictator's going to find this triumphant music you wrote for this and just co-opt it.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to think we're related to them.
Yeah,
we're not.
That'll happen,
we have nothing to do with that fucking dictator.
The Indian swastika. All right. You want to go first or second?
I can go second.
All right. So you just did 5, right? So we're going to cast Rigoletto, Duke, Gilda, Spartafucile, and Maddalena, right?
Yeah.
So the assassin, his sister, Rigoletto, his daughter, and then the Duke. There's other roles, but fuck him. All right. So let's go then. Spartafucile and Maddalena first.
Okay.
I went Powerhouse, dude. I blew my budget on actors for this one.
Oh, God.
Maddalena, I went ScarJo. Okay?
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, dude. And it's I can't get out of mind because there's that famous quartet recording with Pavarotti and who are the other people? The 4 of them. It's Pavarotti.
Cheryl Milnes. That is that one.
Maybe it's Milnes and is it Marilyn Horne with the huge hair?
No, you mean
And then the woman,
Joan Sutherland.
the one busting out of her dress.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That I saw that when I was
You
younger.
need somebody busting.
And it burned into my mind. And so for me, if she ain't thick, she ain't she ain't coming along. So Scarlett Johansson.
I get it, but that's what the character's supposed to be.
Yeah, you got to bring this Duke back to your place. You got to be seductive. So boom, Scarlett Johansson. Spotted for Chile. I went Christoph Waltz, man. I don't know why. I just figured because he's an assassin, he murders people, but he's somehow but he's somehow charming. Yeah.
Yeah. You mean Inglorious Bastards?
Yeah, like evil. Like I'll kill someone, but like hey, let me know.
How old was Shoshana?
Yeah.
Right. I can't do a good Christoph Waltz, but Okay, go on.
Then Duke, I
go ahead.
Zac Efron, dude, because Duke's got to be sexy.
Duke's got to be sexy.
Duke's got to be playful.
Yep.
It's different than Don Giovanni. It's different than Don Giovanni because Don Giovanni's not so funny.
Right.
Finca Calvino's kind of playful, but like La Donna Mobile, it's boyish. It's boyish. The stuff. He's not evil. He just wants to fuck.
Yeah.
So I did Zac Efron. Gilda, I did Ellen Page. She was the girl from Inception. Because
Ellen Page.
Yeah, I went Ellen Page, man. Let me tell you why.
Whoa.
Because
that's unexpected.
Yeah, because Gilda's got to be, I guess, in some ways naive. She's been like held captive in a house, basically. She only goes to church.
Yeah.
How could you not be?
Right.
But so I first casted the girl from Mean Girls. I can't remember her name. The one that plays the dumb girl from Mean Girls. But then I realized this death scene at the end is some serious acting, and you got to have some chops. And I think Ellen Page has a side to her that could do.
Sure.
Like, she could, because you got to have someone that grows from naive to like, I'm dying because of this.
Yeah, but she
grows
stays
up a little bit.
naive. No, she stays naive the whole fucking
No,
time. That's why she's dying for that dick.
Okay, I don't know, man. Dying for that dick. Okay, and then for Rigoletto, I did Andy Serkis, dude. I did the guy that plays Gollum.
Nice.
Because he's got acting chops. He has some Shakespeare shit. Go on YouTube. I can't. We were just drinking beer today because I got too drunk on the Rigoletto podcast with this absinthe, man. I got a bit wild. Anyway, look up his Shakespearean monologues if you haven't seen them before.
Oh, really?
The guy he's an incredible actor. He's got chops, and he could play deformed, no fucking problem. He could find every shade of that.
Dude, it's crazy. I went so in a completely different.
Right. Well, give them to us and do it kind of fast because I'm gonna piss my pants here.
But listen, you have to help me with Spada Fucile. I couldn't find somebody.
All right.
Because I have a theme to mine.
Okay.
And my theme is I turned Rigoletto into like an early 90s rom-com. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So that means Magdalena is Carmen Electra.
Okay.
Like back in her prime.
I forgot about
early
Carmen
90s, right?
Yeah.
That's some bustiness for you.
Yeah, we should
right
do those
there.
exercise videos.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Chair
That's some serious stuff. Wait a minute. Who all do we have?
You got Gilda, Duke, Rigoletto, and then Spada Fucile.
Spada Fucile is...
Do it last. I got to hear the other ones
cool.
first.
The fucking Duke is Justin Timberlake in his fucking prime with NSYNC.
With the bleached tips. Yeah.
Wait, NSYNC?
NSYNC.
NSYNC, right. And then we got another teen heartthrob woman for Gilda and Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Good.
Right?
Good.
I'm talking I Know What You Did Last Summer. Also got some missiles there.
Okay,
right?
okay.
And then you might hate, I can't tell whether you're going to hate or love Rigoletto, but Rick Moranis. I wanted a little bumbler.
Rom-com.
I wanted rom-com bumbling father.
Okay.
And then Spada Fucile, the only guy I could think of, which it doesn't really it doesn't work, was the big brother from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, yeah, that guy with the low voice.
Right, but I don't think it works, which is why I didn't say it. So I need somebody who can, from the early 90s, who can really pull that shit off, and I don't have it.
What's that one guy's name? Like Norm Macdonald?
Norm Macdonald.
You want me to? I can't do Norm Macdonald.
You mean he'll get done with the end?
Yeah.
And that just goes to prove my point.
Yeah.
Germans love David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, like do him.
Okay, Norm Macdonald. Fuck it.
Or Hugh Grant. I don't know.
Oh, what about Chris Farley?
You can do Chris. It's too funny. All right, look, we got to end this because I'm literally on the brink here. So everybody, it's been real. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Secret sponsors. Head to the secret sponsor section. We're going to talk about some deep shit after I drain the snake. See you next time.
P.S.